Al writes, I recently have been watching 60s films, and many of them have very non-natural acting, a la The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. If actors today gave those performances, do you think that they would be seen as cheesy? What are your thoughts?
Liberty Valance. My dad used to listen to that song all the time. Look, if you take a lot of those films from that era and put them in today, would they come across as cheesy? Yeah, they totally would. But you have to take into account the era and the context in which those films were made. Remember, in the 50s and 60s, they weren't all that far removed from sound coming to the movie pictures, right?
Remember, movies are, they're even the word movies. Oh, it's moving images. They called them talkies for a while. It's like, you got to put that in perspective.
I think we should start referring to them as talkies again. That's true.
Hey, I see that latest talkie?
Man, we're talking weird now. Like we're in the 30s, right, guys?
Shane.
Come on.
Remember, their big template for acting at the time, we've mentioned this before, their big template for acting at the time was stage. And in stage, you have to exaggerate and accentuate everything because you're alone on a stage projecting to an entire audience. So you just don't say, I'm thinking I'm going to run out and grab lunch today. You go, I think it's time for lunch. I'm going it's the stage, right? And so we've seen over a progression of the decades that they've moved away from stage performance into a new style of acting for screen, which is different. But at the time, they weren't that far removed from it. So does it come across today as cheesy? Sure. But you got to remember when you're looking at them and evaluating, put yourself in that era context, and it comes across a lot different. Because if you watch them now and think about a stage play, watch those 50s and 60s movies, think of it as a stage play, and you'll totally see it a lot more naturally. Any question, what do you think?
I think you nailed it. And I think when you get to the progression of any business, like things change, times change, and the way that you approach certain things change. And when you're watching a movie like that in the 60s, I mean, even if you watch a movie like that in the 80s, when you watch a movie in the 80s, like The Last Dragon, right? When you watch that at the time with the 80s, the beatbox and all that stuff, when you're watching that in 1986 or 87, you're like, oh yeah, that's super cool. Then you watch it now and you're like, who would wear, that guy is 200 pounds. Why are you wearing a half shirt? And like when you watch it, it's just everything changes over time. But it's the theater element that I think you're most right on, because between the 60s and when Brando kind of came into acting in the 50s, that's a stage actor, and things just changed. Method. But it was the transformation of the film and theater, the blend, and there's film acting now, there's theater acting, and it's not as intertwined as it was back then.
You know what's great is there's so many methods to acting now. I love when you have, this person, I could see what kind of acting method they're going with, or this person is just like plucking from realism, or this person has a staged presence. So when you have different actors all in the same scene, yet they're great actors, you get that fantastic dynamism. We had talked about this once before. Like, I like to compare acting through decades and even genres to art. To like, when we had the Renaissance, it was just like, hey, artists were just kind of painting, portraits and things like that. And then we moved in and moved on through all the different periods and, pop culture and just, pop art. Now we're in like this, for film, it's only been around for a little over 100 years compared to all these other forms of art, which are thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So it's easier to see or call out changes because everything's happened so quickly with film. So, I mean, I think you're always going to see different new ways of acting. And, we haven't even cracked the surface of what can be done in film. So.
Well, the moral of the story is go watch The Last Dragon.
That's really what we're trying to say. That's the whole point of this.
Hey everyone, if you liked this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC movie talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.